The New York Giants just gave the league a reason to sit up and pay attention. 3 preseason games, 3 wins, and a jaw-dropping point margin of more than 60. This is not the same team fans have watched stumble through slow starts in recent years. What nobody expected is how sharp and confident this group looks before the real games even begin. The twist is simple. A roster that was rebuilt from the inside out is suddenly producing like a unit that already knows how to win. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The scoreboard is not the whole story. The energy on the sideline has changed. Players are locked in, celebrating together and feeding off each other's success. Instead of empty drives and quiet benches, this preseason was filled with touchdowns, emotion, and the type of chemistry that hints at something bigger. When a locker room starts to believe before week 1, that belief usually carries over. The shocking part is the Giants did it without even leaning on their full list of starters. Now the real question becomes how this offense found such a quick rhythm. The plays, the execution, and the balance in the playbook looked brand new. It was not just about winning games, it was about creating an identity the Giants have been missing for years. Coming up, we break down exactly what the offense unlocked this summer, and why these changes might carry over into September in a way no one saw coming. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Giants and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 500 likes on this video. The New York Giants just flipped the rhythm of their offense and hid it in plain sight. The biggest tell was the screen game finally working with pace and purpose, not as a bailout. They dialed up 13 screens for about 5 yards per play and turned a stale idea into easy first down math. Backs and receivers flowed into space, linemen hit landmarks, and the ball came out fast. That is how you turn short throws into drive starters and confidence builders. The deeper shift lives in how the calls layered together. They lined up under center 68 times to sell power, then ripped into 48 play-action keepers that froze second-level defenders. They tried 29 run-pass options with 19 ending as rushes, sprinkled 18 deep shots to punish safeties who crept up, and used motion on 57 snaps to force constant adjustments. This was not a collection of tricks. It was a plan that let different skill sets breathe while keeping defenses off balance for 4 quarters. Now the chessboard gets even more interesting, because a flexible menu invites a flexible quarterback plan. If the playbook can shift gears this smoothly, the staff can choose the right passer for the right moment without locking into a rigid depth chart. Up next, the quiet strategy inside the quarterback room, and why the label of number 2 might not tell the real story. The New York Giants turned a simple depth chart into a real weapon. Russell Wilson is the starter. That part is clear. But here's the twist. The next snap after him will not be about a label, it will be about the moment. Tight game, long field, 2 minutes left, the staff can reach for the steady veteran. Big lead, safe window, chance to invest in the future, the staff can choose the rookie. That freedom changes how a season feels. Jameis Winston brings calm and timing that travel well in tough spots. Jackson Dart brings fresh legs, quick eyes, and a fearless edge that passed every test the coaches threw at him in camp. He ripped a scramble for 23 yards and learned the hard lesson that he must slide to stay on the field. The plan that may surprise people is simple. Keep Dart active as often as possible, not locked into an emergency tag, so real snaps can feed his growth when the game allows it, while Winston handles the pressure cookers that ask for experience. Tommy DeVito adds one more layer. He played well enough to draw interest across the league, which gives the front office options before the deadline. Whether he stays as insurance or moves for help at another spot, the quarterback room puts the Giants in control instead of reacting. Now the focus shifts to the players who make those throws worth it, because the right targets can tilt the choice at quarterback in real time. Up next, the wideouts and playmakers who raise the ceiling and why their roles carry real pressure. The New York Giants turn their receiver room into a problem that defenses have to solve in real time. Malik Neighbors pulls eyes the second he breaks the huddle, and that gravity creates windows that did not exist last year. The twist is simple. When one star bends coverage, the rest of the field gets lighter, and that is where this group can hit. Space shows up, timing tightens, and drives stay alive because the first read is clean and the second read is not far behind. What nobody is talking about is how the veterans and the speed threat can shape each other's night. Darius Slayton stretches the outside and forces honest safety depth. Wan'Dale Robinson wins underneath with quick snaps that punish soft zones. Jalen Hyatt carries real runway speed, and the staff can help him by stacking alignments, moving him around, and letting simple routes build confidence. The shocking part is that one strong series from this trio can flip how a defense treats neighbors on the very next drive. Now the hidden edge comes from field position. Gunnar Olszewski and Emir Smith-Marset give you real return options that can tilt a quarter with one clean crease. and that matters when every yard turns into a makeable call on third down. Bo Collins fights to stay in the mix by tightening the details and turning practice into trust. Here is where the story pushes forward, because the next layer of help changes matchups again. Up next, the backfield and the tight ends, and why their roles could force the biggest roster numbers crunch of the week. The New York Giants just turned a quiet room into a roster headache in the best way. Dante Miller hit the gas every time he touched the ball, and you can feel why coaches hate the idea of hiding that speed on the practice squad. Then the tight ends started cashing in. Greg Dulcich kept finding the paint, stacking 3 touchdowns this preseason and building clear timing with Jackson Dart in money spots. One group added juice, the other added points, and together they forced real choices. Here is where the math gets tight. Carrying 4 running backs makes sense when one of them can flip field position on special teams. Keeping 4 tight ends makes sense when the room gives you a blocker like Chris Manhertz, a red zone target like Dulcich, and a smooth mover like Thomas Fidone who turned tough catches into momentum plays. That leaves Daniel Bellinger as a hard call because of contract space and role overlap, not because he cannot play. Every keeper here helps the offense stay multiple without tipping calls, but every keeper also takes a chair from another position. Now the spotlight swings to the other side of the ball, where space is just as tight and the competition is just as fierce. If the offense keeps an extra seat or two, the defense must prove it can do more with less. Up next, the line, the edge rotation, and the corner battles that will decide who survives the squeeze and who becomes a priority call on cutdown day. The New York Giants just put real muscle behind their new identity, and it starts in the trenches. Dexter Lawrence is the anchor, but the quiet story is how the depth around him finally looks sturdy. Roy Robertson Harris eats early downs and frees everyone else to attack. DJ Davidson used this preseason to claim snaps with power and leverage, while Raheem Nunez-Roche stays steady as the dependable glue. Darius Alexander and Elijah Chapman add fresh legs that keep the interior from fading late, which is exactly how close games tilt. Edge is where the fear lives now. Brian Burns brings instant pressure. Kayvon Thibodeau forces protections to slide, and rookie Abdul Carter flashes the burst that makes coaches reach for more packages. Chauncey Golston gives you size on the edge for early downs, then you can chase with speed on third and long. The squeeze is real for Trace Ford, who played well enough to belong, yet could still be the tough call because roster math does not care about good tape when numbers run tight. Corner is a live battle with real stakes. Deonte Banks owns an outside spot and Andrew Phillips settles the slot when he is on the field, but the contest behind them will shape how aggressive the play caller can be. Trey Hawkins fights to be the next man up outside, Nick Jones wins trust on special teams and depth snaps, and Art Green with Corey Black keep pushing the room. This group looks better, but one thin area can undo a plan in a single quarter, which is why the next move matters. The New York Giants enter cutdown week with rare leverage, holding quarterback depth that could spark trades with teams like the Titans, Jets, Saints, Colts, Vikings, Rams, Chiefs, or Browns. Instead of a simple pick swap, a player-for-player move could instantly patch thin spots at safety, slot corner, or wide receiver without touching the core roster, while early waiver priority offers another chance to grab impact depth that can reshape roles across the board. The first 53 is only the starting point, and the next decision, whether moving Tommy DeVito or striking fast on waivers, could be the move that defines their season. Which position would you fix first, and do you believe the front office should push now for January football?